ahí sos lindos, tudabum. I was practicing so much backstage trying to get that. Listen, I'm very, very excited to be here. Thank you. I know it's been a long day, and we're at the end of the day, but we're going to get the energy going here. And so today, what I want to talk to you about is something that is very near and dear to my heart, and that is recurring revenue. Yes, and we generate that revenue through membership sites. So that's what I'm going to be talking to you about today. But first, I want to take you back to 2004. 2004. For many of you, it probably is not a significant year, but for me, it was. You were born in 2000? No, you weren't even born yet. See? Golly, they keep getting younger and younger. But 2004 was the year that I made my first sale. How many of you remember your first sale? Yes! It's a significant moment. For me, it was when I sold this book called Ideas for Halloween. And I made a whopping $7.95. Yeah, baby! Woo! Yes! But I remember that day because at the time, I was working for a company, and every month we would put on a workshop. And during that workshop, we had these two speakers every month who were teaching about how to grow your business online. And I thought, I want to do that. So I put into practice everything that they taught. And my first product was this little ebook, but it wasn't so much the ebook. You know, I hired a graphic designer. I wrote all the sales copy myself. I didn't have anything like Hotmart. Hotmart is amazing. It makes selling online so much easier. For me back then, I was trying to figure it all out. And every day after work, I'd be in the office trying to put it all together. And I remembered the piece of advice that these gentlemen gave. And they said, online sales is just a numbers game. So the whole goal is to drive people to your sales letter, and a percentage of those people will buy. And they said the way you get people to that sales letter is through ads. And so every day as I was working on this site, I finally got it live, and it was finally ready to go. And I thought, as soon as it's live, the sales are just going to come flooding in. But they didn't. And so my brother-in-law was working with me at the time, and he was watching me do this. And every day he would come in and he'd say, "Hey, Stu, have you made a sale?" And I would say, "No, but it's coming. I just got to buy some more ads." And he'd come in the next day. "Hey, Stu, have you made a sale?" "No." "Hey, Stu, have you made a sale?" "No." And then my girlfriend, now wife, Amy, who's here with us, we flew to Los Angeles. And when we landed, we got off the plane, and I said, "Amy, we got to get online as fast as possible." And she said, "Why?" I said, "Because I got to check my stats. I got to see how many sales I've made." And so we go upstairs, I get online, and there it was, my first $7.95. And I started celebrating. I said, "Amy, we got to take a picture of this." I said, "This is going to be on the cover of a magazine one day." And there it is. $7.95, right there. I celebrated that day. It was a monumental day. Now, here's the thing I think about as entrepreneurs. We don't celebrate the wins enough. So I'm going to invite you right now to celebrate your first sale. But I want to do it in a unique way that I know only Brazilians know how to do. You see, I myself am a big soccer fan. I played soccer all throughout university, won 2 national championships in Canada, which is probably equivalent to like 9 or 10-year-old championships here in Brazil. But nonetheless, I love soccer, and what I know about Brazilians is you know how to celebrate. I was telling my wife, this is my 3rd time here in Brazil, and I said, there's nobody in the world that knows how to have a good time like the Brazilians. The reason I share that with you is because that was one sale. But for me, I've been very fortunate in business to generate millions of sales. But none of it would have happened had it not been for that first sale. Now, the reason that I love membership sites is because you make a sale, and that same customer comes back again the next month, and again the next month, and the month after that, and the month after that, and the month after that. And so you win a customer one time, and they continue to pay every single month. So my goal here today is to show you how to get paid every single month. So what makes this presentation different? Well, in 2008, I co-founded a company called Wishlist Member. Wishlist Member went on to become the world's #1 membership platform for WordPress. In a short period of time, when I sold my shares in this company, we were powering 70,000 online communities and membership sites. And through that, I learned a lot. I learned that some sites were doing things right, but the majority of sites were doing a lot of things wrong. And what I discovered was that there was an easy way to have a highly profitable membership, but most people were doing it the hard way. They were creating a whole bunch of content, launching and just hoping that members would find value, hoping that they would stay part of their membership. You and I don't want to leave the success of our business to hope. And so what I discovered was there were 2 types of membership site owners. The first one was the hobbyist. This is somebody who launches a membership site, does well in the beginning, and then sales drop off or start to fade away. The second type of membership site owner was the business owner. And they saw a growth curve just like this, like a staircase. It would go up, then it would hold steady. Go up again, hold steady again. Go up again, hold steady. And it kept growing year over year over year. Now, after I learned all of this, I wanted to create my own membership myself. So I partnered with this gentleman here. His name is Michael Hyatt. He was an author. And he had a successful business, but he didn't have a successful business model. The way he earned his money was by speaking. And so he would speak 30 to 40 times a year. And with a day on the front and a day on the back for travel, it meant that he was away from his family over 100 days a year. So when I met with him, I said, if you could do one thing differently in your business, what would it be? He said, Stu, I love what I get to do. I love who I get to serve. And I love the message I get to share. But I just want to be home with my wife, Gail. I want to be home with my 5 daughters and my grandchildren. And I said, I can help. And so we created a membership site called Platform University. I poured everything I knew that the successful membership site owners were doing into that site. And in the first week, we welcomed 1,100 members. After the first year, we had 2,500. After the second year, we had 4,500. And after year 3, we had over 6,000 members. I started to get asked, hey, how are you doing this? In fact, Erico flew me to Brazil, and we did a workshop where I taught. And some of you are here that were at that original workshop. And so what happened is that we started teaching. Now, I'm going to share a whole lot of stories with you, but I want you to know that results are not typical because every market is going to be different. But I'm going to show you so many different examples because I firmly believe that a membership site can be successful in any market. Now, how many of you have a business where you're selling products, like a physical product? Okay, great. Okay, you're going to see some examples here in a minute. How many of you have a service? Great. How many of you have a knowledge-based business where you're selling information? Great, lots of you. Okay. How about a community where you have a community? Okay, great. Now, you can have a membership site in virtually any one of these categories. Of course, there's another category that I'm not mentioning, and I won't go into detail, but that's software. You know, we're into that business as well. We have a brand new piece of software coming out called Searchy.io. Another one at the end of the year called Membership.io. But today I'm going to be focusing on these types of membership sites. And here are the 3 secrets that I discovered. It's just as easy to make a recurring sale as it is to make a one-time sale. Secret number 2 is the less you do, the more money you make, which is totally counterintuitive. Not what you would think. And the third secret is you don't have to get it right, you just have to get it going. So let's get into this. Secret number 1. It's just as easy to make a recurring sale as it is to make a one-time sale. This is why when we celebrated making that first sale, it's a big deal. But we should be celebrating even more when we make the sale of a membership site. Because the reason that membership sites are taking off like crazy is because of 2 trends. The first trend is just memberships now are everywhere. And consumers, customers, are now used to paying on a recurring basis. Remember Blockbuster? You guys remember Blockbuster? Yeah. They went bust because they didn't adapt. Because along came a fledgling startup named Netflix who made the process so much easier and more convenient. And so people started moving in droves to to Netflix. And this is what happened. In a very short period of time, Blockbuster went from $6 billion a year to bankrupt. Netflix goes from a little fledgling startup to hundreds of millions of monthly paying customers. And there are all kinds of other companies that are moving to a recurring model. Microsoft, Adobe, Spotify, Apple. In fact, speaking of Apple, last year they bought this company called Texture, which sells subscriptions to online magazines. A year later, they rebranded it as Apple News for $10 a month. The headlines are everywhere. Burger King. Burger King has a monthly subscription. $5 a month gets you unlimited coffee. So why would Burger King have a monthly subscription? It gets people into their restaurant. Another example, Nike. Nike has just announced a brand new subscription for growing children. They send your kids new shoes on a subscription as your kids are growing. Groceries are being sold by subscription. Dollar Shave Club. This company went from 0 to over $1 billion in a 4.5-year period, selling primarily one product, razors on subscription. Makeup. I want to ask you, and I want you to think about this. What subscriptions do you belong to? What do you pay for on a monthly basis? Because once you start wrapping your head around what you are paying for on a monthly basis, you will quickly begin to see a subscription model can be applied to your business too. Okay, so why subscriptions? They're more stable, they're more predictable, and they're a heck of a lot less stressful than a regular business that has to go and find new customers every single month. Trend number 2 is online education. People are more hungry today to continue to learn than ever before. It's why you are here right now at this event. You're here to learn, you're here to grow. And in 2014, the online learning market was predicted to be $107 billion. Last year, that number went up to $325 billion. It's a massive market, my friends. So let me ask, any speakers or authors in the audience? Okay, a few of you want to pay attention to this. This is a perfect example. Dan Rome wrote the book, Back of the Napkin, Show and Tell. And in the book, he extends the experience from the book to a membership site. And he has a membership site called the Napkin Academy. It's a continuation of what he was teaching in the book. Michael Hyatt, this was exactly what we did with Michael. His book was Platform Get Noticed in a Noisy World. And we turned that into Platform University. Any bloggers or podcasters? Okay? This blog, called Pinch of Yum, is a food blog. But what was interesting was as this blog continued to grow, they started to get a lot of questions from people. Like, how are you growing this food blog? So then they started this thing up there. It's called Food Blogger Pro, where they teach other food bloggers how to grow their food blog. The Morning Coach, this was originally a free podcast that he then turned into a monthly subscription. This is a podcast that you absolutely want to go and subscribe to right now. Nothing but goodness on this podcast, marketing your business. Any experts? Who's an expert? Hands in the air. Let me see them high. Okay. Jeremy Cowart, photographer. He's always getting questions from other photographers. Hey, what kind of lens are you working with? What does your light setup look like? How are you color correcting your photos? What are you doing in Photoshop? This and that. Always asking him questions. So all he did was he took his expertise and put it inside of a membership site. The Nonprofit Leadership Lab. This was a partnership. Joan Gary is the expert. She partnered with Scott Paley, who created the membership. Together, they help nonprofit leaders grow their nonprofits. In the first year, they welcomed over 2,500 members into their membership. This site here, Jesse's in the audience, started her membership site teaching hand lettering in the Spanish market. She's an expert at it. She was always getting questions about it. And so she poured her expertise into a membership site. Secret number 2. The less you do, the more money you make. And I know this sounds odd. But in the membership world, this is one of those strategies that you have to pay attention to. And the reason is because I was having a conversation with my friend Gree. She had hired me for a day of consulting, and we were working to help her with her membership site. And in that, I asked her, I said, are there any membership sites that you belong to that you really like? And she said, well, I just joined one, but I'm actually going to cancel it. And I said, really? I said, why? And she said, well, I got inside, and it was just like a ton of information. And I didn't know what to look at, what to read, where to start. And so I was just left. And my friends, that right there is the number one reason that people cancel from a membership site. If you're thinking about starting a membership site or you have one, you want to make note. The number one reason why people cancel from a membership site is overwhelm. Meaning you're providing too much information. Too much that you're overwhelming them. And because they're overwhelmed, they're not doing anything with what you are teaching. And if they aren't doing anything, they're going to leave. Now, there's 4 reasons why people buy and join a membership site. So let's talk about those. Number 1 is people want more of you. How many of you have heard a great speaker and afterwards thought, I would love to continue to learn from them? Or you've read a great book and you would love to ask the author questions. This is exactly what your market is doing with you. They want more from you. That's a reason why they'll buy. Number 2 reason is they want less. But wait a minute. Didn't I just tell you that they wanted more? And now I'm telling you that they want less. Well, what they want less of is all the fluff. You know, if you were to do a search for how to train my dog to stop barking, you'd have over 7 million different results. And I guarantee you, when you read the results, they're completely different pieces of advice, which leaves the person trying to find a solution confused and overwhelmed. People don't want more of a whole lot of information. They want less information, but they want the right information. Reason number 3 is people want convenience and speed. When my wife and I got married, we had a problem. The problem was that neither of us enjoy cooking. We love to eat, but we don't like to cook. So every night around dinner time, we would secretly hope that the other person was going to get hungry first. And it was interesting because we'd have this standoff where I'm super hungry, but I'm not going to admit that I'm hungry because then I'd have to go make dinner. And I hate cooking, and she was doing the same. We were back and forth, back and forth. And so what ended up happening is we would always eat terrible meals because we'd wait, and then it would get late. And then we would have like those microwavable dinners that are disgusting. Yeah, they're awful. But then we had our daughter, Marla. And we knew that we couldn't feed her what we were feeding ourselves. So we had to find a better solution. So I went online and I searched for healthy meals fast. And I came across this membership site called thefresh20.com. And what they provided was a shopping list, recipes, and instructions on how to prepare those meals. So a guy like me who doesn't like to cook doesn't have to think. I literally would go into the grocery store, I'd have my list, I'd buy everything that was on the list that they told me to buy, I'd go home, and I would prepare dinner in 20 minutes or less. That was always the promise. And we'd have healthy meals. Now, we've since upgraded. This is my son Sam and my daughter Marla. We now get the groceries delivered to our door on subscription. So it's even more convenient. It's even easier. This is why people buy. Convenience and speed. The fourth reason, this is a very important one, especially if you are teaching your audience anything. People want direction. They want to be told where to go and what to do. Now, we created something called the Success Path. And I'd recommend you write this down. On the left-hand side of your notes, I want you to draw a line straight down. On the right-hand side of your notes, I want you to draw another line straight down. And then I want you to connect them right through the middle, just like this. On the left side is where your audience is right now. This is the problem that they're facing. They're in the beginning stages of learning handwriting, or learning how to train their dog, or learning to play the guitar, or learning any skill. And then they want to be all the way over here on the right side. They want to be a great artist. They want to be a great musician. They want to be a great business person, whatever it may be. They want to have mastered a skill. But the problem is that people don't know how to go from where they are to where they want to be. And this, my friend, is your success path. It shows them step by step how to get from where they are to where they want to be. Secret number 3. You don't have to get it right, you just have to get it going. Too often, when it comes to creating a membership site, we overthink things. We try to get it perfect. But what I'm going to show you is a lot of examples right now of people who didn't get it perfect. They just got it going, and because of that, they have a success. And I heard this quote back in 2004 from a friend of mine named Mike Lippman. He said, "You don't have to get it right, you just have to get it going." And it stuck with me ever since. And so let me show you. The very first thing that I want you to do is to start with your market's needs. What problems or challenges are they experiencing right now? And there are 2 types of problems I want you to look for. Most people focus on the external problems. The external problem is what somebody will type into Google when they're looking for a solution. How does this work? Look at this. Uh-oh. Okay, this is going to be dangerous. Well, hopefully this will work. Okay. So on the left-hand side, the left-hand side are external problems. These are the problems that people would type into Google to find a solution for. How to get my dog to stop barking. How to get my 2-year-old to sleep at night. How to blank. Okay? This appeals to the head. But over here is when you appeal to the heart. When you speak to the conversation that's going on in your market's head. They may not be talking about it, but they're definitely thinking it, and they're definitely feeling it. Let me give you an example. In 2014, I decided to sell the shares in my software company. It was a very tough decision for me because the company was doing really well. We were generating millions of dollars a year. I had great business partners, great team. Everything was going well. But I had this feeling that that company was not going to get me to where I wanted to be. So one night I was up late and I was thinking about it and I was tossing and turning in bed. And here were the internal thoughts that I was thinking. What if this company is a one-hit wonder? What if I can't repeat my success again? What if people no longer want to do business with me now that I'm no longer associated with this company? Am I putting my family in financial jeopardy if I quit this or sell my shares? These were all thoughts that were swirling around in my head. I wasn't talking to anybody about it, but I was thinking it and I was feeling it. And here's the secret. If you can clearly connect with your audience on the internal thoughts, you immediately connect with them right here at the heart. They feel understood. They feel heard. And the goal for you and I is a combination. And what we call this, over here, we call this the scientist, this the artist, and what we want to become, this is a very technical term, a scientist. That's not a real word, just in case that gets lost in translation. But what we're trying to do is we're trying to have a combination of appealing to both the head and the heart. Because if you only appeal to the head, you're going to come off looking like a used car salesman. It feels very aggressive, feels very yucky. People won't feel good about buying from you. But if you only appeal to the heart, people will feel good, but they won't buy. So this is why we have to have the combination of both appealing to the head and the heart. So here's how you find this. You go online and you search a problem in your market plus forum or problem plus group. You can do this on Facebook too. And then when you find these, I want you to go inside. So here's an example. Like if I were to type in how to get my toddler to sleep plus forum. This would be a problem if anybody's in the parenting market that people in that audience would likely type in. What you'll find is you'll come to forums like this where people are flat out telling you their problems. This woman here is explaining how her, her 2-year-old has all these outbursts at night, isn't sleeping, blah, 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 blah. Then down below, she's talking about the internal problem, where she's feeling like she's not a good mom, that she doesn't want to make the same mistakes with her other children. Those are great copy nuggets. Because one of the things I want you to remember is a membership site is always evolving. It is always changing. You're always changing it with your members' needs. As your members are growing, you are adapting and changing the membership site accordingly. And what I want you to do is I want you to start small. And I'm going to give you some great examples of people right now who started really small. Jonathan Milligan. He was a blogger, still is a blogger. He wanted to generate some recurring revenue. His goal was 50 members. He wanted 50 members at $20 a month to generate $1,000 a month in recurring revenue. So what he did was he sent an email to his email list of 621 people. Didn't have tens of thousands or thousands. He had 621 people. And he invited them to a webinar, and 52 people registered for the webinar. But not everybody who registers for the webinar is going to show up for the webinar. Only 23 people showed up for the webinar. On the webinar, he offered his membership, and he invited people to come and join him as a founding member. 19 of those people joined as a founding member. But he wanted 50. So then what he did was he sent a follow-up email to his email list and said 19 of the 50 spots have been taken. And with 2 more emails, he filled all 50 spots. That was the beginning of his membership. $1,000 a month. Who would be happy with $1,000 a month extra? Yes? Yes. And now, in a very short period of time, he's grown that to over 350 members. This was just a year later. Another example, Susan Garrett. She is an expert dog trainer. She had a business model, though, that was very stressful because she was going from launch to launch to launch to launch to launch. And she just wanted some stability. So she launched a membership site to a small number of people, a list of 1,800 people. Over 1,100 of them signed up as paying members. That's a 61% conversion. She had a great relationship with a small audience. Another example. Can you do this? Can you do this? Yes, you can. Anna Saucier, I love this story. Last year, she was at a live event that we host every year called Tribe Live. She heard all the stories of everybody coming up and sharing what they did. And she heard this one story of a woman named Jamie Swanson, who told how she launched her membership site and she didn't even have it finished. And she used what we call a founding member script. And it goes like this. You might want to write this down if you're ever thinking about launching anything. She said, I'm thinking about starting a community for, in her case, photographers. And my vision, and she went on to explain what this community would look like. She said, none of this is created yet. But if there's enough interest, I would like to extend those who are interested the best possible price. Because when we do launch this to the general public, the price will immediately go up. So if you join me as a founding member, you'll get the best possible price. So Anna heard that story and heard the success that Jamie had and said, I'm going to do that. And she did it right there at the live event. Her audience are fertility practitioners. They're people who help women get pregnant. She didn't have a big audience. She didn't have tens of thousands or thousands. She had 326 people. But she sent that message on Facebook. She made that post on Facebook, and she said, if you are interested in becoming a founding member, send me a direct message. She didn't even have a sales letter. She didn't have a checkout page. She didn't have any launch videos. She didn't have a webinar. She didn't have any of that. She just got going. People sent her a direct message, and then she sent them a PayPal link. That's how simple it was. And in 24 hours, generated over $5,000 using this simple strategy. She didn't get it right. She just got it going. Another story. Can you do this? It's so simple, right? Some of you are sitting there saying, this is, Stu, give me the advanced tactics. Give me the advanced stuff. This is too simple. My friends, I'm as simple as they come. I stick to the fundamentals, and I just keep going deeper and deeper in the simple fundamentals. Another example, Wendy Batten. She helps, this will just show you how niche you can go. She helps paint store retailers. Stores that sell paint. That's her market. Doesn't have a big audience. 460 people in her audience. When she launched, she welcomed 59 members right out of the bat, doing exactly what we just talked about, inviting them to join her as founding members, generating over $2,800 a month in month number 1. Another example, Nicholas Wilton. He's an artist. He teaches other people how to paint fine art. He launched this membership, Art to Life Academy, and he did it to a small list of 200 people. Now, this list was a very hot list because they were people who were going through his course. Any of you have a course that you teach right now? Look at all those hands in the air. Okay, pay attention to this. Because he had a course, and at the end of the course, as he was coming toward the end, people started asking him, well, wait, what's going to happen? Are we going to be able to continue to get help? I don't want to leave this group. And he came to me and he said, well, what do I do? I said, you do a beta launch. So he did exactly what we're talking about. I'm thinking of launching a community to help other artists continue to go deeper in the skills that we have taught in the course. 180 of them signed up at $30 a month, generating $5,400 a month, and he hadn't even launched yet. He didn't have anything created. And he explained to them up front, this is a brand new idea. If you join me as a founding member, you'll have the lowest price, and we will create this together. My friends, $5,400 a month. Who would be happy with an extra $5,400 a month? Heck yeah! Can you do this? Yes! Listen, Patti Palmer, another great example. She's an art teacher. She teaches kids in schools art. And she was sharing her lessons with other art teachers. And these art teachers started paying her. She launched her membership, 925 members at $30 a month when she launched, providing these art teachers lesson plans. Coach Tulin, she's a fitness coach for plus-size women. She went on Facebook, did the exact thing that we're talking about. She just did a Facebook Live and invited people to join her as a founding member, welcomed over 400 members at $20 a month, generating over $8,000 a month. It's a very simple script. It's almost too simple that some of you are going to say it won't work. And I'm telling you, it works. It works. It works. It works. Can you do this? Secret number 3, remember it. You don't have to get it right. You just have to get it going. Now, we've covered a lot. We talked about the first secret. It's just as easy to make a recurring sale as it is to make a one-time sale because of the 2 trends. Trend number 1, recurring memberships is the norm in today's business. Trend number 2, online education. We talked about the less you do, the more money you make because of the 4 reasons why people buy. They want more from you. They don't want a whole lot more information. They want convenience and speed, and they want direction. We also talked about the success path. It's an incredibly powerful tool inside of any membership that you provide. And we talked about you don't have to get it right, you just have to get it going. Start with your market's needs, specifically the external and internal. Start with a beta launch and keep it super simple in the beginning. Because if it's simple, you'll get it going. And when you get it going, you get momentum. Now there's one final thing I want to share with you. And what I'm going to ask is for all the lights to come down for a second. And I want you to take out your phone right now. Take out your phone. Put your flashlight on your phone. And hold it up. Look around for a second. Look at all these beautiful lights. Each one of these lights represent a person. And in our business, it's very easy to get lost in the stats. But what I want you to realize is behind every number is a real human being. Thank you. You can put those down. We have the lights come back up.